Well, I think we can consider that a call to prayer. And what I'd like to do right now is ask the prayer chaplains to please stand. Everybody here? Prayer chaplain standing? Fantastic. So I'd like you please to join me in consciousness as we begin with an opening prayer. So let's just take a deep breath and release it, knowing that God is present in this very space, in, around, and through each of us. For there's only one thing present here. That's spirit in all of its different forms, in all of its different expressions. You are that which God is. Feel it, know it, understand it, and take it in. It is your divine birthright, each of us. And so we are sons and daughters of the high, the holy, and we come here to celebrate it each and every Sunday, and we're so thankful to be able to do so. We do it with one another in joy, in harmony, in connection, and in love. We're so grateful for those that allow this to unfold. We have volunteers that greet us when we come in. We have volunteers that set up the streaming and the sound and the PowerPoint. We have musicians which bring us an absolutely magnificent experience. We have prayer chaplains who hold the light for each and every one of us, and we have a board of trustees. They make certain that this magnificent unity of Pasadena thrives and survives and brings forth the best it can bring to not only this space, but the surrounding community. And we are so grateful. We're so grateful to be together. We're so grateful for Sundays. I love Sundays. It's with all of this that I know that today is perfect. That as this unfolds, we recognize the beauty in each and every word spoken by each and every person, for it's brought to us in love and joy and togetherness. So with great gratitude, I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that it's absolutely done. Please join me by saying, and so it is. So it is. Amen. Well, we're going to thank you, prayer chaplains. By the way, this is a great way to allow you to see who your prayer chaplains are. And there will be two of them today. Who are the prayer chaplains today? Paul. And who else will be around afterward and you? Paul and Michelle will be the ones that are going to be sticking around afterward to provide prayer to each and every one of you that needs it. So please look for them at the end of the service. Great. So let's do a little holy, holy, holy. What do you say?
Please join in. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I
Yeah, that deserves a hand, doesn't it? You guys deserve a hand. I mean, because I think I heard like 18-part harmony out there. You know, I mean, it blows any musician's mind. Thank you, guys. It's really beautiful. Appreciate it. So I'm Reverend Greg Dorst. So good to see you. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome. If you're on streaming live, I just welcome you to this space. It's a holy space. Each and every person here is holy. It's really neat to know that God simply makes things out of itself, you know. God said, "Let there be," and there you were. That's really amazing stuff. That means you're holy. It means you're divine. The truth of that song is impactful for me because I understand the oneness. I understand the unity involved. You see, we are unity, and that means one. So welcome to oneness, you guys. So we have a magnificent space where we just have a terrific time here. We really have a great time here. We're going to have a great one today. There's going to be terrific music. We also have amazing, what I would call events coming up. And we're going to have somebody explain those to you. But I want to talk about one real quickly here while I'm up here. Daniel Nahmad's coming to town next week. He'll be here to do not only the music, but he'll be here to do the talk. I'm going to be front row. I'm going to be front row here because I think it's so exciting to have him here. He is a talent that is not only inspirationally intellectual, but it's intuitive. It's extremely spiritual in nature. He has been through some things that allowed him to embrace his talents. And what he does is he writes songs, he sings them, he writes and speaks, and he motivates and inspires whomever he's in front of. So make sure you're here next week. Bring your friends. Bring everybody. After the service, there's going to be a concert as well. And that's fantastic. So it's kind of a Daniel Nahmad day. Let's welcome him to Unity of Pasadena when he gets here. Let him know that we are absolutely that which he is, which is a divine connection.
Invite your friends.
Invite your friends. Yeah. By the way, it's a fundraiser for us too. So just to let you know, this is a fundraiser for us too. We love his music, but he's also agreed to come and do a concert, and in that concert setting, we're all going to share in the bounty of this event. So really excited about that. I'm inviting all my friends, so and you'll get to see how many I have. So let's do some things here that we normally do to get ourselves rolling. Let's do the unity blessing together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And we have a statement of faith also. Please join me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good omnipotence. And I am one with that presence and power. So, Barbara, are you going to be doing our community today? All right, this is the part I really enjoy. She talks a bit about what it is that we are, and just get a sense for what our values are and what our mission and our vision is, and you'll see who we really are. Thank you, Barbara.
And I guess I shut myself off. Number 4. There we go. Is that better? Okay. Anyway, as Reverend Greg was saying, we are unity. And yes, so as a community, we have designed some statements which reflect things like our vision, that aligns with that of Unity Worldwide Ministries. So why don't we say it together? Envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And to get that on the ground and moving, we have a mission statement which says, transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love, using practical spiritual principles. And we have some core values that help us drive us as a family. And they are creating community, living love, teaching truth, and serving spirit. And these statements are on your monthly bulletin, and there is a new one out today, I do believe. Says this is the first Sunday of the month of August. And we have something new, which it will be our celebration of birthdays. So anybody who has an August birthday today, Reverend Greg and I would like to help you celebrate that.
I do. I have an August birthday.
Oh, Reverend
Got an
Greg.
August birthday?
Okay.
Come on. Well, you don't have to come on up, but I'm going to come on up. We're going to sing to you, though. We really are. How many August birthdays do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to make August stand up? All right, August, stand up, please. All right. God. So proud to be a member of this elite group. So we get to sing to each other. How about that? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear August. Happy birthday to you.
Okay. And moving right on through the month, today being the first week, it's Team A, B, and C providing our hospitality.
Oh, I love A, B, and C.
Do you?
Oh,
okay.
They're so good.
Well, now here's a real challenge for next week. D, E, F, G, H, I, J. And I would say anybody else who wants to support them, being as it is such a big event that day, okay? But we're going to leave the leadership of the setup and the initial serving and the cleanup to D through J. But if anybody wants to help supplement the refreshments, I think that would be wonderful. Okay, and again, we continue to thank you for keeping everything so clean, especially the trash cans. No more ants. All righty. And speaking of next week also, normally that would be tea time with prayer chaplains, but don't worry, they're coming back in September. On the second Sunday of September, there will be tea time with the chaplains. Now, Reverend Greg spent a lot of time on Daniel Nahmod, and I would just like to say also, he so badly wanted to be here, he changed his plans for being out of town.
me, not Daniel. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, originally Daniel was, he was going to, be here because Greg wasn't here, but, now both Greg and Jackie are going to be here to enjoy it as well. So it's going to be a great time. And now we're going to move a little further into the fall, and we're going to ask you to save a date. And Marty, would you come up and share what that's about with us?
Ooh. Come on. You bet.
Thank you. Okay, here I am again, everybody. I want you to know.
Microphone.
Microphone?
There you go.
With my voice, it probably fills it anyway.
It's got to
doesn't
go over the airwaves.
Oh,
Yes,
airwaves.
Airwaves. Yeah, we're connected to
I better behave
We're
myself.
connected to the internet.
Wow. Anyway, don't you love those mesmerizing eyes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. We are doing an event, The Cat Strikes at Midnight. It is a murder mystery where everything is done in-house. Hollywood may come calling, but that's okay. We'll let them watch. I want you to know that this is the closest thing that I have to a cat suit, so I wore it today. I wanted to be in the spirit of things. Speaking of spirit of things, I want you to leave your adult mind outside the door for just a little minute. No justifying, analyzing, or rationalizing. I want to talk to your inner child, because you will notice that this is a fun razor, or if you don't notice it now, you will. And you will look and you'll say it's misspelled. No, it isn't, because fun is just as important to raise as money. And if you can do them both together, hey, you got a good thing going. So, speaking to your inner child, I'm going to tell you a little story. It's a legend that I heard, or a fable I heard a long time ago, and it's called Stone Soup. And there was a village where the people were starving. And so the elders got together to figure out what they could do to feed their community. And what they did was they got a big cauldron, and they filled it with water, and they put some stones in it, lit a fire under it, and they instructed the people who were in the community to each bring whatever they could spare and throw it in the pot. And lo and behold, they had a wonderful soup that fed the whole community. How does that apply to what we're doing? Well, we need each one of your talents, each one of your ideas, each one of your suggestions. No matter how little you think it'll work, or whether you think, well, they'd never be able to pull that off, doesn't matter. Just tell us. I'm going to be sitting out there, and if you don't come up to me, you know I will come up to you. And we are going to make fun soup. The cauldron is our unity venue. The water is our creativity. The stones are the concepts we're already working with. And we need you to bring in the nourishment. So we're going to have a feast that's overflowing into our community, not just with fun, but with money too. We're going to do both. So remember, November the 5th, it's a Saturday, I do believe, and it's in the afternoon. We're going to have a wonderful luncheon, luscious lasagna we're going to have. And that's all I'm going to tell you right now. Do we know how much it's going to cost? No. I mean, you know, that'll fall in place. But anyway, I thank you for your attention. I got to get out of here now.
Come on, let's do it. That recipe for metaphysical soup is really good. I like that. It's very, very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marty. Okay, well, you've been introduced to all our prayer chaplains, and you all know that prayer is at the core of our community here. And so now we're going to move into the time of meditation and daily word. Now, Paul Smith is our prayer chaplain of the day, and he'll be leading that meditation. And as we prepare ourselves for that, Jacqueline Coulette is going to share our daily word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
By the way, I don't believe in astrology, but Leo is the best sign. Today's affirmation from the Daily Word: releasing the past, I make room for the future. My life experiences have provided me with many gifts, from joyous to painful. I have taken something from each one: a nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace, that has helped me evolve into the person I am today. I am always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessings while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret and do not dwell on things I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and create beautiful, lasting impressions. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. Scriptural reference is Ecclesiastes, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away.
You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God. Blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God, deepest joy is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Well, happy Sunday to each and every one of you. It is my privilege and pleasure to pray with you. Now, you can hear me now, can't you? Okay. Take a moment to relax your thoughts as you allow your breath to let you surrender to that quiet space within by breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Let us begin by saying the corrected version of the prayer of St. Francis slowly together. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and that it is through grace that we are given everlasting life. Amen. As we begin to close our eyes, we realize what an amazing world we live in. If we can believe and follow through with appropriate action on what is yet to be, we can achieve our goals and dreams. As we remember to put God first in thought, word, and deed, we discover good happenings in our lives. We are richly blessed. We expect all situations and conditions to bring about greater good. We know that with God, all things are possible. For every challenging situation in our world, there is a perfect solution. We are blessed with the insight to behold the right outcome as we move into a 2-minute period of silence in gratitude of our blessings. As we begin to open our eyes, we expect great good in our lives, for we live in God's glorious universe. Thank you, God, for the ability to identify your abundant riches surrounding us. We give thanks for the good that has been and is being revealed in our lives. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
More than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why should I worry? Why should I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do. Your infinite love will prove more than enough. There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let the world know the truth, whatever we choose to do. Your infinite love will prove more than enough. Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all that will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever I choose to do. Your infinite love will prove more than enough, more than enough, more than enough.
Yeah, what a beautiful song, and what a team to do it. I mean, you guys are awesome. Seriously, you're awesome. I appreciate everything that you do. You bring us to that place where we truly feel within us that we're connected not only to each other but with Spirit. And the subject matter of Daniel Nahmat's songs bring us to that space as well, because he's a true believer in there being just one power. In fact, that's one of his most famous songs, One Power, and he's going to do it next week. But there we go. What a great start for me, because I'm going to talk about this oneness trip that we're on. This thing we call unity is really an expression for a principle of oneness. Unity is also a principle. I mean, these are two words that pretty much describe sort of the same thing. I mean, we are all one. We can understand that from the perspective of feeling love for one another, but are we unified in the respect that we're made out of the same stuff? Well, the answer to that is yes as well. So there's only one thing. And I like to start with this. I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing. But it's only one thing. Expressing as you, expressing as me, and everything we see. So I think I'm going to talk about wholeness today from a really interesting perspective. The title of today's talk is We Are Whole. And I want to bring about that understanding for you that we are perfect, whole, and complete just as we are. The only thing that has had any effect on that is the way that we think and our doubt regarding that and the way that we act and react and respond to our feelings that we're not that create a lot of difficulty in our lives. I mean, I think you can see that. You know that. I mean, the way that we think outpictures in our lives, and that's a very important concept here in unity. But we are whole. We are perfect, whole, and complete. We have to be. We're made out of God's stuff. We are the life of God. So I want to be able to illustrate that in a way that kind of makes sense. Because there's one person that I know of that has, throughout her life, done a great job of not only saying that time and time again, that she is whole, but demonstrating it. And that's Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle Fillmore is one of the co-founders of Unity. You're sitting in a Unity church. You are sitting in here because Myrtle Fillmore had some ideas around healing that she learned from a man by the name of D.B. Weeks while she was listening to him talk. But she had those in her heart to begin with. She felt that there was a way for her to connect with life at a level that would allow her to heal from a really serious medical condition. So in 1845, Myrtle Fillmore was born, but she wasn't born Myrtle. She was born Mary. Her middle name was Caroline, Mary Caroline Page. And she took on her nickname, which was sort of a derivation of Myrtle, Myrtle. And that was her father who called her that. And so she became Myrtle, and she liked it. And so, back then in, 1845, 1850, 1855, I guess you could call yourself anything you wanted to, because there weren't really great birth records back then. In fact, Myrtle never really knew whether she was born in 1845 or 1846. But she took on 1845 because she just kind of felt that was probably the day she was born. August 6th, by the way, 1845. So she's a Leo too. Yeah, there you go. So Myrtle Fillmore was born into a strict Methodist family. And her mother and father were Methodists. Her father was a much stricter Methodist. There were 9 children. She was 7 of 9, and she was born with tuberculosis. She was told that she had TB. That was consumption back then. If you've ever heard that phrase, that word consumption, it's tuberculosis. And so there was all sorts of coughing and an inability to breathe, which created some sickness and her inability to fully express herself as a human. And so she was considered to be sickly. She believed that, and she grew up as a sickly person. Her family let her know that that's who she was. Now, she grew up in fire and brimstone. She grew up in the Methodist church where there was a lot of fire and brimstone. Her father would consistently talk about whether or not they were doing the right thing such that they might avoid hell. The damnation in hell aspect of the Methodist church is pretty good at bringing money, but not good at making you feel comfortable, I mean, a little bit of money will keep you out of hell, a little bit of this will help. But her family, because of this sickliness in the family, was poor. And she had this inner feeling that there was nothing right about that. She started to rebel against her parents with this idea of hell, fire, and brimstone. And she started to talk about how she couldn't believe that there was a God that was supposed to be loving, that would judge us and send us for eternity to a place where there was incredible pain and suffering, that a God that was supposed to be the father of all would treat his children that way. She just could not believe that. She and her sister kind of formed, her sister Jane, an older sister, kind of formed a little, kind of a little cadre of ideas, and Jane was more vocal. Jane actually in church one day, when Jane was her older sister, in church one day, she decided that she was going to rebel in the open. And when hellfire and brimstone were talked about, she said, "I don't believe that for a second," in church, right in church. That had a really interesting effect. She was never invited back to that church. And her family said, "You can't live with us anymore." Yeah. So Jane became an outcast, and of course that, there were 8 other children, and nobody wants to see rebellion in the ranks. So a very strong and devout Methodist family would do just that back in the 1850s. And so Myrtle, knowing that this was not the way, and that she needed something special in her life so that she might begin to heal, because doctors had just given up on her. I mean, there was nothing that they could do. I mean, nothing you can do. She'd been to enough of them, she'd had treatments, and there was just nothing that they could do, and they told her that. So she started to develop her own way of being, her own way of thinking, her own way of connecting with what we call Source, or Spirit, or God, or the Christ consciousness, the all that is, the life with a capital L. She started to develop a way to do that, and what she did was spend a lot of time on her own. And she had her special places where she'd like to go. She liked to go down by the stream, and she liked to sit. And she would engage in what we would call meditation today, where she sat in the silence and just felt the love of God. That she gained from that intuition and inspiration. And she engaged in what we would call prayer today as well, which is to take that inspiration and intuition and develop within her a means of absorbing it in a way that made sense for her. And it was through prayer and meditation and affirmations that she started to get a new sense for who she was. So I'm going to let her tell the story in this way. She wrote a poem that most people don't know about. You don't see this very often unless you dig real, real deep. I'll give you the name of the poem in case you want to look it up on the internet. It's called My Love to Thee. The hours I've spent with Thee, dear Lord, are pearls of priceless worth to me. My soul, my being merge in sweet accord, in love for Thee, in love for Thee. Each hour a pearl, each pearl a prayer. Binding Thy presence close to me, I only know that Thou art there, and I am lost in Thee. O glorious joys that thrill and bless. O vision sweet of love divine. My soul, its rapturous bliss, can ill express that Thou art mine, O Lord, that Thou art mine. I think that is an absolutely beautiful poem and by the way, that would make a great song, wouldn't it? I mean, it has a real I'd like to put that to music. Let's put that on a list, maybe we could do that. We could take those words and make a song out of that, make it ours, This is what Myrtle was doing. This is where she was, on the stream bank, in meditation, writing poetry, expressing her closeness to Spirit as she saw it occurring in her and deepening in her. She tells stories about this in many different ways. She's written several books. One of her greater books, I think, is the Myrtle Fillmore Healing Letters. You can get that on the internet as well for free, or you can buy it in book form, but there are all sorts of sites that'll give you a free PDF if that's what you want. You can get a PDF copy of it. And I have one of those, and I enjoy it very, very much. What she did was she started later in life to become a resource for people that were suffering as she was suffering. And she wrote these people back when they wrote letters to her describing their problems. The reason why they were interested in talking in some way or communicating in some way with her, with Myrtle Fillmore, was because over the course of her illness, she had developed a connective resource within her that inspired healing. She healed herself. She healed herself of TB and other accompanying issues that had kind of sidelined, squeezed their way into her life. She healed herself from those issues. And you say, well, how did she do that? Well, the way she did that was when she went to this discussion with D.B. Weeks, who was an early devotee of Emma Curtis Hopkins, taught by Emma Curtis Hopkins. It was a speech in a big hall, and she and Charles went to this. She and Charles Fillmore went to this. And she developed a love for an affirmation that D.B. Weeks used. Want to hear that affirmation? Yeah. Here's the affirmation. The affirmation was, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. God is not sickness. God is wholeness. I inherit wholeness. She developed a series of affirmations around this that she utilized every single day. She utilized it at the beginning of her day, in the middle of her day, and throughout her day. She meditated on her life being the life of God. Now, doesn't that sound like unity? Unity wasn't around yet. Unity was not around yet. She healed herself of this. And in the process of healing herself, she created something much greater than most could ever imagine. Because she brought her husband into this idea. I mean, she was first. By the way, she was 9 years older than him. You know, she was 9 years older than Charles Fillmore. They met in a place called Denison, Texas. And they were, separated for one reason or another, and then came back together. They always stayed in touch with their writings, sending letters back and forth, and eventually did get married and moved to Missouri, where they started this unity movement in earnest. But she was the start of it. She brought it to the forefront, and she said, "You watch me, Charles. You watch what I do." And he did. He watched her, and she healed herself, and he utilized that same process in order to heal himself of an old injury that he had. He had an ice skating accident when he was a kid, and it made him limp. He healed himself of an old injury. And they became living, breathing, walking expressions of this new idea that we could be one with this God that is whole in and of itself, and become whole in the process. Get rid of all those beliefs, those ideas that say something different in the mind, in the heart. So, how does this happen? That you can heal yourself through some sort of mental process, through some sort of mental and emotional and spiritual process. How do you do that? Well, I thought I'd put it in my own words, because as I went through all of this, the beginning processes of unity in action, this church, this beautiful philosophy, religion, spiritual guidepost, sign for us to follow, I see that it sprung from healing, from the need for healing. And the healing occurred in this way, so I wrote this. The healing starts in the only place it can, from within you. When you no longer see worry, lack, limitation, when you no longer fear, when you no longer resent, when you no longer feel any anger, when you no longer perceive the need to protect yourself, when you are inclusive of everyone and everything, when there is no disharmony in your life and you flow with the flow of the universe, then you have realized your wholeness, your essence, the Christ in you. This is the story of Myrtle Fillmore and how she trained her mind and her emotions and her feelings and her thought processes, and essentially changed her personality to become the person who could heal. That's what happened. She essentially said, who is it that I have to be in order to heal? And this is who she became, to heal. And once she had that healing process demonstrated for the whole world, there were people that wanted exactly what she had to give. That was the knowledge of how to make this happen. I pulled a portion out of one of her letters. Remember, people heard about this, they wrote her letters, and she responded to every one of them. She says in one response, "I was once an emaciated little girl upon whom relatives and doctors had placed the stamp TB, tuberculosis. And this was only one of the ailments. There were others considered beyond help, except possibly the changing of structure through an operation. There were family problems too. We were a sickly lot and came to the place where we were unable to provide for all of us. In the midst of all this gloom, we kept looking for a way out, which we felt sure would be revealed. It was. The light of God revealed to us. The thought came to me first that God, that life was of God, and that we were inseparable, one with the source, and that we inherited from the divine and a perfect Father wholeness. What that revelation did to me at first was not apparent to the senses, but it held my mind above negation, and I began to claim my birthright and to act as though I believed myself to be the child of God filled with His life. I gained. Others saw that there was something new in me. They asked me to share it. I did. Others were healed and began to study. My husband continued his business and at first took little interest in what I was doing. But after a time, he became absorbed in the study of truth too. We consecrated ourselves to the Lord. That's for a single purpose, you see. They wanted to serve God and serve God by serving each and every one of us. So we consecrated ourselves to the Lord and kept doing daily that which we felt led to do. We began to prosper, a little at a time, and our health continued to improve. Life became sweeter and more interesting, and we began to see a new world. In all these years, our interest has not lagged, and we have continued to enjoy the unfoldment of God's plan in our lives. You ask what restored me to vigorous health? It was a change of mind from the old carnal mind that believes in sickness to the Christ mind of life and permanent health. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind, Romans 12:2. As he thinketh in his heart, so shall he be, Proverbs 23:7. That's a portion of one of her letters, instructing exactly the process that she had engaged in to others. That's how unity started. That's how this entire process started. It was around healing. Now, I have to say that most of the great spiritual philosophies, even religions, have grown up around this idea of healing. You know, and what kind of healing are we talking about? Well, we're talking about a healing from within that extends to without. And each of us has ability to do that, although we've covered it up a little bit. I know that in our society today, what we do is we rely on physical medicine an awful lot. We do. I mean, when we have issues with our bodies, issues with our minds even, issues with anything, we end up going to a doctor typically, we end up going to a physician, we end up going to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and we get prescriptions, and those things are intended to fix us. And we feel like doctors are healers, but the truth is doctors just kind of set the stage for the healing that we have to accomplish from within. That's always been that way. And if you find a doctor that's honest with you and you say, you know, you are a great healer, doctor, the doctor will say, no, I'll tell you, thank you very much for that, but all I did was learn how to address the setting. You know, learn how to tend the soil, so to speak, so that seed of health can sprout. All I do is prepare the table for the feast, is what he says, if he's really, really telling the truth. Because healing comes from within. And you can stop that just like you can stop your love for life. You can. And you can work on engaging with that, just like Myrtle Fillmore did. So we're going to have an exciting month. You know, I got to tell you, this is one of the greater months to be alive, for anybody to be alive. And thank goodness it's August. But we're going to be talking about Myrtle Fillmore this month, and in the midst of that, we're going to have Daniel Namod come and give and share with us and sing. But then we're going to get back to Myrtle Fillmore, and we're going to talk about the illumined nature of humankind. We're going to talk about more of her adventures and how this thing called unity unfolded in such a magnificent and beautiful way. It's exciting stuff. I got to tell you, I'm excited to be able to present it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I love Sundays. God, I love Sundays. And you know what that tells me as well? That I love you. And the God in me recognizes the God in you. And when I say that, you guys say back, Namaste. Thank you. All right, we have, hello, Millie. Come on forward. She's our usher today. Thank you so much for being this magnificent demonstration of love and giving. Thank you. Oh, this is for me. Yes, this is my, look at, like any good male in today's society, I get my money from my wife. That's the way it works, right, darling? So, and then we share it. So thank you for bringing that, yes, yeah. And I get to hold it close to my heart and know that as I give, so shall I receive. And we have a community giving saying that we say together. Would you join me, please? God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you so much. How about a song?
Sometimes I forget where I come from. Sometimes I forget where I'm going to. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I know you feel the same. Then I remember there is nowhere and that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. Sometimes I believe in what I see. Sometimes I believe what I perceive. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I don't know what to say. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. Hey, there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. I forgot to pray, I forgot to be still and know. I forgot to forgive myself until I forgave myself. Forgot to ask for help, I forgot to say a word. Forgot to believe in me, believe in my spirit's word. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere that God is not. Yeah, yeah. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. 'Cause everywhere I am, I know what I got. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Everywhere I am, I know what I
The energy of God in action. Isn't that awesome? Come forward, please, Millie. Thank you so much for your hard work. You've done a wonderful job. Wonderful. Now, there's also energy in tithes. There's energy in money, and we want to honor that because this tithe, this treasure that's given today shall be utilized in integrity by Unity of Pasadena for the greater good of this community and the community at large. We actually give a tithe to the community at large. We have a special set of gifts that we give out for nonprofit organizations that are in need of help. So not only do we do the work here, we do the work out there. We keep the circulation within us moving, and that's the way of the wholeness of life. And so we're so thankful for this. We're thankful for these opportunities. We're thankful for this truth. We're thankful for Unity of Pasadena and each person that comes in and each person yet to come into these walls, these rooms, yet to come into the streaming for the content and beauty of such a service. We're thankful for it all. We release these words into the law of mind, knowing they're done, and in love, say, and so it is. All right. Okay, so here's what's going on. After service, if you need prayer, and we know the value of it now, don't we? We certainly know the value of it and why it's valued so much in Unity. Just stay in your seat, and our prayer chaplains will find you. But first, we're going to stand up and we're going to do together the silent Unity prayer for protection. If you would please join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well, and so it is. Now, what song are we singing? Peace song. Peace song. We're in the peace song. We all know the words to that one, don't we? Come on,